to get it out of the way, just what happened with Luke, basically, was he on
I think it's pretty much what the release said, and just told us this morning at 10 o'clock this morning that he wanted to do something different and with his parents. And so, you know, it's always in those type of situations. Timing issues can always surprise you, but I can't stand here and say that I was in complete shock. So really what it is what it is. I mean, you wish him the best. We'll miss his potential. We'll miss him as a person. He did an outstanding job here academically. He's an excellent young man. And we move right on. And the team moves right on. Practice moves right on, and we just go. So that's really what it was. I mean, it wasn't like anything that anybody really saw coming.
You say that you weren't in complete shock, though. What was it?
Well, that's just my personal opinion. So that's what that means. Okay.
And where do you go from here now?
Well, we go to Illinois, Pete. Where do you think we go?
No, I meant
go to Illinois and play.
in terms of rotation, in terms of...
I don't know. You haven't seen a rotation yet. We're going to go up there, and if we want to press for 40 minutes, we're going to press for 40 minutes. It creates more opportunity. I mean, Luke has good potential. There's no doubt about that. But it just creates people take advantage of the opportunity. I mean, that's all you can really ask for. I mean, and that's really what it is. I mean, it's not like time doesn't wait for anybody. I mean, you just got to go. And that's exactly where we're at.
As far as Illinois is concerned, what's impressed you about them so far?
Oh, their maturity. I think their maturity. I think the fact that they have so many guys. I mean, they've got, you know, the fifth-year guy, I believe, in Bertrand, the four-year guy in Abrams, Iki and Rice have played in a lot of big games. Egwu was one of the most improved players in the league last year. That hasn't changed. So they've got one of the more experienced teams of understanding how to play basketball, how to win. John is a great coach. I mean, not a good coach, a great coach. There's no doubt about that. And you knew that was going to happen when he was at Xavier and I didn't know him at Butler, but at Xavier and at Ohio State. And then certainly what he did at Ohio, he's doing nothing but great there. So they got a lot of experience. They're hard to beat there. They don't beat themselves. They do an excellent job of getting to the foul line. They take care of the ball. They get a very good percentage from three. They've got numerous offensive rebounders. There's not a lot of things that you look at and say they don't do. And I think what they do is they really, really play hard. I mean, really play hard. That Missouri win was impressive. And so that's strong. I mean, and the other day, I mean, they go on the road and they go to UIC. I mean, go to the United Center to play UIC. They only have 4 turnovers. I mean, so they understand how to take care of the ball. So they're playing like an experienced team, and we're going to have to go in there. We're going to have to match that intensity, that emotion, but that also going to have to match that intelligence that they play with.
At the same time, kind of what they've obviously got Tracy Abrams running the point, but Jalen Tate's got almost as many assists playing, I think, about half as many minutes off the bench. What makes him so good in that system?
Well, it's a lot like Yogi, and Yogi was a starter last year, but Yogi had a lot of scores to the ball to him. And I think that's exactly what they have when you watch him play. He delivers the basketball, and they've got a lot of makers right now. And Rice is a heavy-duty maker. Iki is a tremendous shooter, got one of the quicker releases that we're going to see. Egwu is an accomplished shooter from 15, 17 feet, can make an occasional three, so you have to be smart when he's out there. Bertrand is shooting at a very high percentage. I think Tate, I think Nunn, and I think Morgan, those guys are, and it's so different than this team. I mean, our freshmen, we absolutely have to rely on them every night. So, and that's just part of it. But they get to go in and work in. And I think that brings a lot of confidence to you when you don't have the responsibility of being a mainstay every night. So I'm sure some of that's part of it. And I think it's a good blend to have.
You obviously mentioned Rice. Just what's impressing you so much about
Just
him?
a bulldozer going to the basket. He can shoot from three, he can get to the rim. Great strength. I don't know him. I don't know if I've seen him in person as far as like really his body. I read all the stories about how much he's changed his body. So probably wouldn't recognize him from high school in that way. But I mean, watching him on film, goodness gracious. I mean, he gets to the basket, he rebounds it, he shoots threes, he's got deep range. He is an aggressive mindset guy. You can see that.
Have you noticed maybe because of the rules change, maybe not more teams playing zone, and do you maybe anticipate seeing more zone in Big Ten? You know?
Oh, you could. Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of different things. I don't know how to answer that. I just know that we have to have a lot of things ready for us. You know, we could zone for 40 minutes, we could press for 40 minutes, we could do a lot of different things inside of there. And I think other teams, I think you have to have, I've said this all along, I don't think it's any big secret to any other program, but you've got to have an arsenal. You know, you've got to have a lot of weapons in your arsenal, I should say, as far as how you're going to defend and what you're going to bring to the table, because you do have to make those adjustments. You know, it's really going to get harder and harder to stay to your rules if you have rules like 2 fouls in the first half, you know, the third foul early in the second half, you know, those kind of things. And I know already with us, I mean, you're constantly playing that mind game as a coach. When do I go back with it? Because you're going to have more and more of those situations, and it's just part of it. So depth helps, consistency really helps, but having different things that you can go to might help save the day at some point.
As much as they've changed, just it's the same way you have, can you look back at the 2 games last year for a good indicator of maybe what Gross wants to do in his Coach Gross wants to do in his second year, or have they just maybe changed too much?
No, I think you watch a lot of this year. I think some of the plays are the same. I don't think there's any change basically on that, though they're running different things to take care of their, or to take care of, or show off the skill guys that they have with the way that they get to the rim. So there's a few more driving plays and isolation plays. But yeah, I think there's things to learn about how they guarded you and how we guarded them. But 13 games into a new team for us, and to a lot of new guys playing key roles for them, we look at it, but I don't think it's anything that we spend an exorbitant amount of time on. But then we'll get there. Go ahead, anybody else?
What did you guys try to accomplish this over the break? How much you get to
A lot.
practice?
We practiced a lot. We tapered it back big time today, and even yesterday. But we got back on the 26th that night, and we tried to accomplish a lot. We tried to accomplish a lot in the film room. We've tried to really make sure that we're spending a lot of time not getting, and we try to never get away from it, but spending a lot of time on our fundamentals, on our skills, on our driving, on our shooting, on our passing. We've been it's been very demanding. I mean, there's no question about that in the sense of decision making, taking care of the ball, you know, the consistency that we got to have rebounding the ball. I don't think we're nearly as good rebounding the ball right now as we could be. And I know the numbers say differently, but I think we can be a lot better at that. I think it's going to keep getting tested. Our ability to concentrate, our ability to really work through fatigue and get as much out of them when they're tired, and the concentration that you have to have, and doing a lot of full court drills or shooting drills, things like that are taxing, and then coming back and playing situation games, things like that we have time in this time of year to do, and we'll continue to do that. We have 2 games this week, and then when we get to turn around and we have a week off before we play again. So I think you wouldn't necessarily want this schedule in the breaks for maybe a veteran team, but I think with a young team like this, where practice and basketball practice is so important to them, and it's important to everybody, every coach would tell you it's important to them, but when you have a young team, now they'd rather play the games, they'd rather play 6 nights a week, but that's not realistic. And if they ever want to get to the point where they're playing 4 or 5 nights a week, they have to get better with their fundamentals, so to get to the next level. But for us, we need that time, and we try to max it out best we can.
Was there you guys sometimes schedule a game between Christmas and the Big Ten season? This year with the 9-day layoff, was that planned at all, or was it just kind of how things fell out?
For the most part, how things fell, because of we're top heavy at the beginning, and there's different ways to go with that, with different teams, and it just so happened that it worked out that way with your Big Ten season starting so early. But I'm really glad these guys got a break for Christmas. I think that was important. I know I've said before, we had that a couple years ago where we didn't have that. We came from Vegas back here, played the 27th. That's hard. I mean, they really are 18 to 23-year-old young men, and whether they're close to home or in another country, I mean, they need their time to be able to get away, their time to be able to relax a little bit. But it's really, for the most part, the way that it worked out with the games that we had earlier. Good? All right.
Thanks,
See you later.